Actually, that's a great question, because now I'm wondering too. I might even have to ask my trainers after this. American horse shows are just vastly different in the sense that American horse shows, they're so much bigger than European horse shows. And like, especially Europeans that don't understand American hunters, the first thing they'll always say, "Hey guys, welcome to the Horse Girls podcast. My name's Nana, and this is where chaos and glamour finds a distance." Of course, always the promo. We are filming in the beautiful Storia Stables, my barn. So thank you so much to my trainer, Victoria, for letting me use your amazing property. We are filming in one of the turnout fields right now. So none of the horses are out, thank goodness. So we shouldn't have any horses drinking water while I'm filming or any of that. We just have the wind now to battle. So there's always a battle on every episode. I mean, that's just how it be. But yeah, we just got the wind to go with. So hopefully the wind doesn't give me too much trouble. We have some epic topics to get right into. So we're gonna start off the bat. Let me see. I kind of forgot. Give me a second, you guys. Like, I don't remember like half of the topics that I'm even supposed to discuss. We got the list, y'all. So we're gonna start off with American versus European horse shows, lack of diversity in the equestrian sport, recent Cesar Parra allegations, and then we're gonna end it with a surprise discussion that my trainer sent me and recommended that we also talk about on the podcast, because this was, I don't even know what's going on, but an Australian rider wore a Mankini and like competed. So yeah, let's just get into it, because we have a list of just problematic horse topics to get right into, and I'm so excited. I have done a lot of videos this week at a horse show, so it's great because I don't get to horse show a lot because they're so freaking expensive. When I do, I try to go down there and I try to make a ton of content, so I have a lot of content to use up for you guys. And one of the content that I made, because I just went to thermal this past week, hence the ribbons. They were pink, so they're so fitting because they were pink for Valentine's Day. One of the videos that I made on the podcast was basically about comparing American horse shows to European horse shows, because they're so different, and a lot of my European followers had no idea how different American horse shows were compared to Europe. So I really thought that would be such a good topic to discuss today. A lot of my followers really took into account and took into note American horse shows, they're so much bigger than European horse shows. We have about 20 rings. I think Thermal has about 22. I don't know, but if you count all the warm-up rings, the Grand Prix rings, all of that, but I believe it goes up to 22. And that's one of the biggest horse shows we have on the West Coast, if not the biggest. There are bigger horse shows in the United States by far. There's Devon, there's Tryon, there's WEF. There's so many big horse shows that we have where there are over like 50 rings. And I'm not over-exaggerating. If you don't believe me, literally look it up. I know I over-exaggerate a lot on this podcast, which you guys hate. But I swear to God, I'm not generalizing this time. I think a lot of Europeans had issues with the American horse shows because they're like, why is it so big? First of all, America does everything big. It's a giant country. Second of all, the reason our horse shows are big is because we have hunters, jumpers, and equitation all in one horse show, whereas Europe, it's primarily focused on the show jumping ring. Not to say that there's no hunters at Europe. They do hunters in England. It's not really like the American hunter, but they do fox hunting, which, by the way, are two different things. Like, I get so annoyed with equestrians comparing, like, the first thing they'll always say is like, oh, it's a knockoff of fox hunting, or oh, they're trying to be fox hunters. We're not trying to be fox hunters. We're not trying to be anything, okay? That needs to be clarified. American hunter jumper was modeled off of fox jumping, but it wasn't supposed to be a replica. If it was a replica, we would do fox hunting, and we do fox hunting. There's fox hunting all around in the East Coast. Like, we still do that, but it's not. Please stop comparing the two, because just because something derived from a sport does not mean it's the same or tries to be remotely the same. Hunter jumpers in the United States, like, does not try to replicate fox hunting, and by any means. Like, we are our own thing, so please stop with that. It's okay not to understand hunters and understand the riding and the style of riding, but what you're not going to do is, like, literally just bash hunter jumpers because you don't understand it. Like, there's a reason. It's a stylistic discipline. Yeah, is it the most effective? When ridden correctly, yeah, hunter jumpers is effective. Do some hunter jumpers ride badly? Absolutely. But most hunter jumpers don't. And the style of riding, like the 2-point style, is effective in its own sense. So just because you don't understand it does not mean it's bad. So don't come for hunter jumpers. Don't want to hear it. Anyways, back to my conversation. We have hunters, we have equitation, and we have show jumping all going on at one horse show. So American horse shows, I believe, are more chaotic than European horse shows. I have been, so as you guys know, I studied abroad in Italy, and I lived there for a year straight. So my heart is in Rome. I love that place. But I would travel by train 3 hours to go ride in Fermo. And in Fermo, they had a horse show nearby, which was the Rivera Horse Center. I don't know, something like that. My Italian followers, you can correct me. But Rivera was so cool to go to, and I got to see what a European horse show looked like. I was telling my friends at the time, because they had never shown in the US, I was like, wow, this is such a beautiful horse show. Are there any more rings? Because I only saw there were 4 rings. And they're like, no, this is one of the biggest horse shows we have in Italy. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, we have Villanova, but I think it's called that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they were like, yeah, we have Villanova, but it's not as, I think that one has 8 rings. And I'm like, huh? It's mainly because in Italian horse shows, or at least what I have seen, and I'm going to assume this is the rest of Europe. If it's not, correct me. But I'm going to assume that for European horse shows, you guys trailer in and you trailer out. Only have show jumping going on at every horse show, or dressage or whatever. But it's never 2 or 3 things happening. There's sometimes where you'll go to a horse show facility in the United States, and there's a dressage show happening right across the corner, and then the hunter jumpers are happening here, and then the pony is happening here. I have literally been to a horse show where saddle seat, Western, show jumping, hunter jumper, and college IEA was all happening at the same time. I had never seen saddle seat before. That was the first time I saw saddle seat in person. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, that's crazy. All at the same time at one horse show. In the warm-up ring, there were Western riders, Western pleasure riders. Then there was somebody doing hunter jumper. There was somebody galloping with their Grand Prix horse and then almost running into a quarter horse. Then the quarter horse goes spinning and it almost tackles a saddlebred. And the saddlebred, it was so chaotic. But honestly, so entertaining. But that's sometimes you get that in the United States. You really do. Hunter jumper horse shows, let me emphasize that, because not all American horse shows are like this, because Western horse shows, I don't believe they go on for weeks. Let me know if they do. But at least for hunter jumper horse shows, they go on for weeks. So horse shows, they go on for 12 weeks. Sorry, my trainer is in the back of this shot. We stay the week, and it's great. It's like horse Disneyland. It's like a horse vacay. You get to stay in a hotel. It's so exciting. Or you stay with family like me to cut costs. I'm not doing hotel. I'm going to stay with fam. But yeah, so that is how the horse show structures go. Then at the horse shows, Europeans were very shocked to hear that American horse shows use golf carts to get around. Yeah, hunter jumper horse shows use golf carts to get around, because I just recently found out that Thermal is on 240 acres. It doesn't even feel like that. But our showgrounds are on hundreds of acres. If Thermal is 240 acres, I don't even want to guess how many acres WEF is. It's got to be over 500 acres. Some of the bigger horse shows like Kentucky, oh my gosh, how many acres is Kentucky? One of the questions that I got actually from somebody asking was, how do the golf carts get there? So how do golf carts get to American horse shows? So what happens is we don't fly them over and you don't load them. Well, Actually, that's a great question, because now I'm wondering too. I might even have to ask my trainers after this. Okay, so we have a golf cart like here on this property, like where I'm at, my barn. We have a golf cart, but like when I was in Vegas, the properties were a lot smaller, so of course there weren't golf carts. But also like Vegas, like to come a state over to show, you can't just load up a golf cart. So we would rent a golf cart. Like there would be golf cart rentals like right next to the horse show, not owned by the horse show, but right next to the horse show. And they would rent out golf carts for like the week. I don't know how we get our golf cart over there. I think like maybe our trailer is big enough. Victoria, do you know how we get the golf cart to the horse show?
What?
Do you know how we get that golf cart to the horse show?
Yeah, golf cart trailer.
We have a golf cart trailer?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes in the back. I brought you a friend.
Oh, yeah, you pony. Oh, buddy. Oh, my gosh, my trainer brought the ponies, you guys. Yay. Wait, let me check on the camera. Oh, my gosh, you guys. My trainer brought me her mini ponies. This is Abu. Come here, Abu. He has Buddy's halter on. Come here. Here, let me move him over. You guys, little Abu's here. So that's pretty fun. Okay, somebody asked me a question here. Is there anything I wish was different about American horse shows? Yeah, the cost. How expensive it is. Yeah, duh. I don't think anybody wants to pay $5,000 to go to a horse show. Hello? Yeah, the cost. Like, why is it like... No, stop. Duh. Is there anything I wish was different about American horse shows? Yeah, the porta potties. Tell me, horse shows are the only place on earth, okay? The only place on earth where you could go and literally spend $5,000 to go use a porta potty. And it's like normalized. You just come out of the porta potty, you have a big smile on your face. You're like, oh my gosh, I just took the greatest shit of my life. Literally will pay the most exuberant prices just to go in a porta... You will literally watch somebody walk out of like a Lamborghini Urus. Like a Lamborghini Urus, yellow, beautiful. And they will literally go like... I can't think... Like equestrians, like horse shows are the only place you'll watch somebody literally walk out of a Lamborghini Urus and go straight to use a porta potty with a smile on their face. Like they're so happy. That is the one thing I would change about American horse shows, because what even is that? How inaccessible are local shows becoming for new and young riders in US versus Europe? Oh, way more in the United States. I mean, local shows, like when I was growing up, you used to spend $250 at the local show. Now it's like $1,000 is the norm. Are you kidding me? Like, hello? And it's like, how are you supposed to grow as a rider if you literally can't show? Okay, ponies are back. Yay, ponies. Okay. Yeah, I just feel like American horse shows are just so expensive these days. Like they're way too expensive for people. Like nobody can justify going to a local show for $1,000. I don't know who can. It's like, how do you even excel in this sport? Because like even... Well, like when I was growing up, $250 was the norm, like $500 at most, but it wasn't like $1,000. Now it's like $1,250 to even show locally, and it's so sad because it's like these are people that need to grow in this sport, and like they're just unable to do so because they're not just given the opportunities, which makes me so sad. Which is also why I'm starting my, of course, shouting it out once again, Equestrian as the equestrian agency, which is supposed to give people more opportunities in the sport. And I think there's so many like dumb comments I'm getting on my posts about it, because people are like, like, what are they saying? Just stupid stuff. They're like, oh, you can't get through this sport without money. Like, yeah, we know, that's the point. That's like why we're starting this agency, to hopefully change the equestrian sport for a good, where there's another way to get through the sport. It doesn't mean that obviously you don't need money to get through the sport. You even need money to be with the club in the first place, like, duh. But I'm trying to make it more accessible for people in a cheaper means, and then give them opportunities, like being able to network with other content creators, being able to go to exclusive horse shows and meet people. Like that in itself is an opportunity itself, because people don't have the means to get there, or the excuse to get there either. So it's gonna help a lot of people. So if you're just doubting it, just keep doubting it. I don't really care. We're done with that. Let's move on because this podcast is getting way too long. I can already feel it. So we're going to talk about lack of diversity in the sport. So we got to make this quick, like 10 minutes quick, because I got to talk about the Cesar Parra and the naked guy. Diversity in the equestrian sport. It's just not a thing. It just doesn't exist. Right, Abu? Like, where are all the diverse equestrians? So the Black Equestrians Organization did a study in 2020, and out of 44,000 competitive equestrians registered with USEF, 44,000, 2020, 79 of them, including myself, are Black. So that is like, that's like crazy to me. That's like 79, like, bro, like, hello. And like, that stat came out, and like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I ride. Okay, this is why we need to pay attention in school, and I don't want to hear any of you who are like, I didn't learn a thing from school. You did. You just didn't pay attention, honey, because this is basic stats. Out of USCF, that doesn't mean in the entire world. Duh. Obviously, there's more Black equestrians out there. But the issue is, if there's only 79 registered with USCF, in 2020, the numbers must have improved. It has to have improved by then. I'd be shocked if it didn't. Hopefully it has. Maybe it's gotten worse. I don't know. But if there's only 79, that is an issue, because USCF, that means they're not competing. That means, like, you're not seeing them. You're only seeing 79 of them competing. And it's like, think of how big the United States is. Like, all across the country, like, you're barely seeing any then. So there's no representation. And it's so sad. And that's the biggest problem with our sport. Now, I think I got a question here, and somebody asked me, how can we be more inclusive in our sport? So there's a common misconception with a lot of equestrians where they feel that, oh, it's about the money, like, and we can't make the sport less expensive, so there's nothing we can do. Yes, obviously money is a factor. Like, I'm not stupid. Everybody knows that money is a factor in the sport. The more accessible we can make the sport, the better. But it's not just money, because you know what? I think that in itself is just such a bad stereotype, because that's just basically like saying that like all minorities are just basically poor and they can't like afford anything, which is not true. Money is the least of the concern. Not the least. Money is not one of the concerns. The biggest concerns, in my opinion, is the fact that nobody's being represented anymore. Like, where are the brands? Like, honestly, like, where are the brands? And I'm just not talking about just little brands. Like, where are the big brands? Where are the big brands sponsoring these riders, and not just sponsoring riders, but doing social media campaigns with Black equestrians, just showing off them and their models, their catalogs? Where is that? You don't see it. Like, even me, like, I have 35,000 followers on Instagram, and I have 116,000 followers on TikTok. And the amount of equestrian brands I've had to approach me to do a campaign is like maybe 3, whereas I've done so many campaigns with like brands that have nothing to do with horses. I have so many brands that I've worked with that have nothing to do with horses. And that's really why the equestrian agency that I'm starting is really branching out and going and doing campaigns with brands that aren't really related to horses, because I find that like other like brands that aren't related to horses, they really like that, because it's just a different type of advertising for them. But like, also on top of that, sorry buddy, oh, my nail. Also, just like on top of that, it's just easier, I feel like, to get those brands, because I've done so many brand deals, and I've only done like 3 brand deals with like horsey brands. And like, that to me is like, it's just telling, because it's just like, we're there, and I have a list of very amazing Black equestrians, which I'm actually going to start listing, because it's one thing to talk the talk, but it's an important thing to walk the walk, because Black equestrians are still not being represented in the sport at all. Like, where are the magazines? Where are the brands? Like, seriously, it's a joke. Like, it really is a joke. And the sport needs to do better, because if more people saw themselves being represented in the sport, then they would join the sport. Do you feel welcomed in a sport where nobody looks like you? Like, would you go into a room full of like a group of people that do not look like you, like, would you enter that room? Like, you wouldn't feel accepted, you wouldn't feel included. It's the same concept. Like, there's like equestrians, they don't feel included, they don't feel like they're wanted there, so they don't go there. I think the best way to answer that person's question is, how can we be more exclusive, is you guys have to press those brands. Like, you have to literally like start tagging those brands and like start getting a little aggressive with those companies. I did a a reel on about diversity, not even just diversity, but my story as like a Black equestrian, where I have this saying where like I feel limitless, I feel like infinity, and I was basically saying that like I achieved my dreams through my mentality and like just being like, I'm very spiritual, so I believe in law of attraction, all that stuff, but I also just believe it's just not even belief, it's literally science. Like, just because you don't understand it like doesn't mean it's not true. Just do your own research. Anyways, so I was really just talking about that in my account, and like obviously it pushed some buttons, and I'm not surprised about that because it's not normal. Like, it's a very Aquarian thought process to put that out there, and it pushed a lot of buttons, especially like with some Black equestrians, where they were saying that, you know, part of the reason that they don't like a lot of my content is, hi buddy, but they were saying they don't like my content a lot because they feel that if I push an agenda that really ignores the struggles of other Black equestrians, because I come from a place of privilege. And I want to really acknowledge that statement on this podcast, because I think it's so important to discuss that. Like, I obviously have a lot of privilege. Like, I would never deny that. Like, have I worked very, very hard to get where I am? Oh, hello. Everything that I have, like my horse, I bought myself. My car, I bought myself. Like, I literally pay all my boarding right now. I do literally, it's all me. Like, I am 100% self-made, and everything I've done is really self-made. Like, I'm serious. I'm very, very serious when I mean that. But in itself, I had, even though my parents, like, they came from nothing, like, seriously, like, my parents came from absolute nothing. My dad grew up in this little village. Even in that in itself, the reason I was able to, like, do all of these things for myself is I had parents that believed that you could do anything, and they put that in me, and they instilled that in me very early on in the age. And that's a privilege. That really is, because a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people have families that bring them down, and that in itself is a privilege. So I have a lot of privilege that I need to acknowledge. And now, especially because I've built myself up, and like, I wouldn't say like necessarily like I'm the wealthiest person on earth, but I'm comfortable enough to sustain such a lifestyle. That's a privilege. I have a lot of privilege, and I have the privilege of having a beautiful platform with you beautiful people, and that's important to acknowledge. And you know, like, I think that's so important, because my biggest issue with a lot of equestrians at the top is they don't acknowledge their privilege, and they don't even acknowledge that the reason they're there is because, like, they've had certain things that have come easier. And that is so true. Like, that is important to acknowledge. I think only my frustration that comes with that sort of mentality is not really understanding that individually it really does stem down to sort of, you're so cute. Individually, it really does stem down to really truly believing that you can make it. And it's like, when you always have and run with a defeatist attitude, that is the reality you're going to get. If you go around the world and it's like, you have something better than me, therefore I can't do this, therefore nobody can do this, that is what you're going to project. Like, you are reaffirming that reality for yourself. And it's the same thing. If somebody comes to you and they're like, you have a pink car, I hate your pink car, and I hate your pink car because I wanted a pink car when I was 5 years old, and therefore I never got a pink car, therefore I hate it. Buddy, hey buddy, sorry, he's right next to the camera. Buddy, come here. But if you have a lot of people that are affirming that, then that's the reality you're going to get, of course. If you say it to yourself, it's not going to happen. And so what I really wanted to express with that post, that individually we all have a chance to make our circumstances a little different, and that mentality is everything. It really is. It's what you're projecting out there that really does make a difference. Like, are there other people that have a leg up in this society? Absolutely. People have been born into wealth, and it's a lot easier for them to have that mentality and that no blocks, so they're manifesting more, they're getting more. And to you that might seem, sad, but everyone has a different path. And where I get a little disheartened is in the community. I feel like it's a little more divisive when we are focusing on such little things like that, where it's like, somebody going out there and saying we are all infinite and limitless, which we are infinity. We all came from an infinity. We have the sciences. Your heart center has about the equivalence to 108 suns, and your navel point, the energy you have at the base of your navel, is equivalent to an atomic bomb. You have that inside of you. Everybody has that inside of them. I want to, with the mindset that I have, the privilege that I've been able to obtain, I want to make that easier for people to recognize that within themselves. And to do so, the socioeconomic conditions have to change, so it's a lot easier for people. But individually, we need to do better. To deny someone hope, to say like, oh yeah, like I only got here because of privilege, it's just not true. And to also just deny someone that hope that just because I had a different sense or whatever, then they can't do it too. It's just not true. And I won't sit here and do that, because everyone has the ability to get there. Everyone does. And it might be a little harder for other people. It might be a lot harder for so many people, but everybody has the ability to get there. Now it's just about creating more opportunities for people to awaken that in themselves and realize that. So that was where I was coming from on that post. And I'm just very disappointed with a lot of the mentality just going on and focusing on running people down, or focus on like little dumb things that are like not helping people, that are just like dividing people and like discouraging people from going out and doing powerful things. And all like equestrians have to do better. I'm going to change that today. Here are some Black equestrians that you need to follow. So first is Anna Buffini. She is absolutely amazing. She does dressage. She's I believe on her way to be an Olympian, if not already an Olympian. My God, she's amazing. Her content is hilarious. She has a beautiful horse named Diva. And a wonderful horse, like so amazing. Please follow her. There's also Steph K. Hall. Steph K. Hall I've known for a very long time. She's incredible. She's also a yogi as me. And she really posts very educational stuff, and I would follow Steph because she knows her shit. And she's trying to make a difference in the sport, and she's allowed Black equestrian success. I would also follow Malachi Hinton. So Malachi is a professional show jumper, and she's doing the thing. She's walking the walk. You guys have to see her. Malachi rides so well, and wow, Malachi, like, guys, go follow Malachi. I'm gonna shout out Kellen. I believe it's Keelan. Let me see. Is it Kellen? I forgot his name. Let me find it. But he's an amazing equestrian as well. And yeah, I'm going to shout him out as well. Ben Davis is amazing as well. Ben Davis is so cool and has a picture with Gigi Hadid. Ben Davis, can you send me Gigi's contact, please? Hello? But yeah, he's amazing. Follow him. And those are sort of some of the Black equestrians that I know very well that I believe are doing incredible things in the sport, that I say give them a follow and go support, because we need that. We need that to be done. So yeah, that's my thing on diversity in the equestrian sport. Yeah, we all need to do better, and that's just what we're doing. Anyways, last topic. We're gonna go whip through this. It's been too fucking long, guys. This episode is ridiculous. We're gonna combine this. Cesar Parra is in trouble because Daddy decided it was a great idea to abuse his dressage horses. So, admittedly, I don't know a lot about what he did, and I don't have the time to research it right now. I just know that Daddy's in trouble. But what I thought was so entertaining, and I'm actually gonna read this, okay? 2 comments that I got from my followers, and that's all I'm going to say on the Parra situation. I'm just going to read it because they already know, they need to talk their shit because they already know the story. This is hilarious. Not hilarious. This is really bad. This is not funny. Not funny. Okay, Angie sent me a message and said, "Hi, Nana. First, I absolutely love your channel. I'm a Western rider, but I used to be a hunter. So cool. I would like to share and see if you'd be open to using your platform to share the atrocities that Cesar Parra is doing to his horses at his facility. If you search his name, you'll see the horrible videos of abuse. I know it's dressage, so it's a different discipline than you do, but I think the sport as a whole should know what he's doing. I believe his license has been temporarily suspended, but it should be revoked permanently. Thank you so much," and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's so bad. So you could literally look up his name and look up all the abuse that he does, but it's so bad, and it's crazy that people get away with this shit in the sport. It's gotta stop. And then also, on top of that, somebody commented on my post, which I can't find right now, but apparently there's, allegations where he was running, like, this is going to get demonetized, so I can't say it. He was running a very inappropriate thing that includes children. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, let's move on. So that's the situation. And finally, let's end this podcast and this hell of an episode on something lighthearted, because we were in some deep topics today. We gotta reel it back. We gotta reel it in. Anybody watch that SpongeBob movie where it's like, don't do gotta reel? Sorry. Okay. Anyways, ending the podcast topic with Mankini wearing Australian equestrian Shane Rose cleared to continue Olympic preparation. So my trainer sent me this, where Shane Rose, an equestrian, who is competing for the Olympics, decided that it was going to be very cash money and girly pop to go into the, come here, baby. Come here, pony. Come here. Come here. Good boy. So Shane Rose, a competitive equestrian, thought it was a girly... I love horses. Shane Rose thought it was a girly pop idea to go into a competition naked and wearing a mankini, which is basically his butt was out, okay? He had his ass crack out, all cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon, and the only thing that was covered was something that I won't mention on this podcast, but at least that was covered, because nothing else was covered, and rode a course and competed nude. And I'm just like, this is not the first time. I'm gonna get canceled. This segment is gonna get me canceled, but you know what? All hands off. This is not the first time we've had male equestrians literally not compete nude, but have just just been nude online. Like, Shane Rose is not the first one. Boyd Martin did this. He literally went into an ice bath and posted on social media. Does nobody remember this? Like, it was so iconic. Like, so I don't know what's going on. Male equestrians watching this podcast, can you give me some insight? Like, why do you guys want to be naked so much? Like, that's crazy to me. Like, this is the second time. Are you guys okay? Do I need to call someone? Like, I'm a little concerned. Let me call someone to help. Like, it's just crazy. And I'm like, this is like a male equestrian thing? Is it? Like, is there something going on with clothes that we need to talk about that I don't know? But I mean, you guys have to keep your clothes on. Like, you don't have to walk around naked, and you don't almost have to lose competing in the Olympics. He literally almost got suspended. Like, he almost got it revoked. Do I think he should be barred from competing in the Olympics? No, absolutely not. He was doing it for a costume contest, even though that's literally not a costume. Like, you're just naked. That's like not a costume. That's your entire, like, that's you, babe. That's you. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm sleepy boy. So he's literally like, go boy. So do I think he should be banned? No, I don't. But just, like, stop doing that and just, like, put on your clothes, male equestrians. Like, y'all are being a little promiscuous. Just stop. Anyways, we're done with this chaotic, absolute chaos. The ponies are tired. They want to go to Betty Buys. You want to go to Betty Buys? Let him off the lead rope. Thank you guys so much for watching the Horse Girls podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, please send me a message. If you'd like to sponsor this Chaos the Mess, please send me a message. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Follow the Instagram so you guys can leave recommendations, because I always ask and like to ask you guys in that format. And then I'll be looking through the guest applications and start getting guests back on the podcast again, which will be super fun. So thank you guys so much for watching the Horse Girls podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this chaotic episode. It was a little sad, then it was a little good, then it was a little crazy, and then we started talking about naked people. So I felt like it was a good episode, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much, Abu, for joining me, little guy, and thank you, buddy, for ignoring me. Hope you guys enjoy. Bye. Thanks.